What is going on, everybody? It is Frankie here, and welcome to my 2023 NFL Week 11 predictions. Big week in the league coming up, including arguably the game of the year on Monday Night Football. Let's get right to it with my picks, which, by the way, if you've been following these the last few weeks and you were betting money on them, you would be making some cash. You would be in the plus. So maybe you should listen to me just a little bit. Just quick aside. No predictions for Jets, Bills, and Vikings, Broncos until those games are done tomorrow. Bills, Broncos tomorrow, so we're going to wait until Tuesday to make predictions on those games. Let's get right to it. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are 3.5-point favorites. Both of these teams coming off really tough losses. Baltimore is probably worse than Cleveland because Baltimore had the lead for, 59 minutes and 40 seconds and somehow let it slip away in the final second. Just a really difficult loss. Cincinnati also losing to a Houston team that is on the rise here, but certainly very surprising. A lot of mistakes Bengals made in that game. Burrow with a couple interceptions. Pass defense was pretty bad, giving up 356 yards to C.J. Stroud, although it seems like everybody's giving up 356 yards to C.J. Stroud these days. Ravens, again, just difficult loss. Let that game slip away. Ton of mistakes there. Injuries suffered in that game. They lose Marlon Humphrey. They lose Ronnie Stanley. Ravens lead in the AFC North now down to a half game over Cleveland and Pittsburgh. AFC North, incredibly impressive division here coming up. We got 3 teams over 500, and I don't know what the heck's going on with Pittsburgh, but somehow they're over. So all 4 teams over 500, and even though I have no idea what to make of Pittsburgh, Cincinnati and Baltimore have certainly been making cases for legit Super Bowl contenders here, at least recently, even though those losses are going to detract from that a little bit. In this game, I'm going to go with Cincinnati. I'm going to say that even though the Ravens are certainly a good team here, I just feel like this could be a very even matchup between these two teams. I think Cincinnati in this spot gets the edge. I can see Burrow putting on a big game here. And again, both these teams are great. I think this was a very disappointing loss, especially yesterday for the Ravens, considering how we were ready to coordinate them as legitimate Super Bowl contenders, and then they lose a game like that. It's difficult, but I'm going to say Cleveland in this game. Again, I can see this Cincinnati in this game. 2 very evenly matched teams. For some reason, I'm giving the edge to Cincinnati here in this one. I think Burrow is the edge here over Lamar. And while Lamar will be good, I just think this is going to be one of the bad Lamar games. Give me Cincinnati plus 3.5. Or if Baltimore wins, I think it'll be a really, really close game. So give me Cincinnati plus 3.5 to cover over the Ravens. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are 3.5-point favorites. Pittsburgh continue to be frauds. I don't know how on earth, and God bless all you Steelers fans out there. I don't know how you're 6-3, and you'd probably agree with me. I don't know how this team, with the offense that it has, with Kenny Pickett not really showing much of an improvement here this season. He is what he is, 14 for 23, 126 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but somehow he gets it done. The running backs had a nice game here today between Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. But somehow this team that never has ever outgained anybody in 9 games somehow is 6-3. I can't explain it, but they got it done today. I mean, I know why. The defense. Even though the secondary was not impressive totally today. They gave up a lot of big completions, but they did come up with 2 big interceptions late, including the interception on the final play. Cleveland, a terrific win over Baltimore. I've been critical of Deshaun Watson as him as a person, but this was arguably the best we have seen from him in his time here in Cleveland. Recovered from the pick 6 on the opening drive, and he was just a great game-winning drive there late to give him the win. Just a terrific job, great job by the offensive line. Defense played very well, especially late, and Cleveland getting a much-needed victory over Baltimore, and have now put themselves in a great position to win the AFC North because they have by far the easiest schedule coming up, and they have a great chance. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, but they have a great chance to win their first division crown since 1989, and it has been certainly a long suffering time for Cleveland. Maybe this is the time here, and I say this is the instance. I still don't trust Pittsburgh, despite no matter how many times they win. I don't trust them at all. And while Cleveland is not a team I particularly trust that much against Pittsburgh, I might as well bet the farm on them. Give me the Browns minus 3.5 at home to get another win and pull to 7-3. I like them here over Pittsburgh. I just cannot believe in Pittsburgh right now, and I say in this game, Cleveland gets it done. Give me the Browns minus 3.5. The Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions. The Lions are 9.5-point favorites. Let me just tell you all you need to know about the Bears-Panthers game and that train wreck on Thursday night. Amazon brought up Jason Kelce for like 20 minutes during the game because they know nobody else cares about this game. This is the worst game of the year. So let's bring Travis Kelce's brother up there to just talk, and let's hope that gets the ratings going. God, what a pathetic game. Chicago won that. Yeah, you want a cookie? Lions, what a win this was. The game of the day against the Chargers, 41-38. It's for all you Lions fans out there, it's great to see the Lions win a game that they usually lose. This is the kind of game where it's LOL Lions, where some sort of embarrassing thing happens, but no, not this time. Now, could be because they're going up against a team like the Chargers, another team that has a bunch of LOL losses. But in this spot, and we've seen a lot this year, a lot of big wins. What are they, 7-2 now? They keep getting it done. They have two great running backs right now in Montgomery and Gibbs that are leading this team. The defense really struggled here yesterday, but doesn't matter as long as they keep scoring like this. And I think in this spot against a Bears team that is not very effective on offense, I think this will be a perfect opportunity for Detroit. Even though if their defense plays like this, Fields will have his day somehow, but the offense will be just too controlling. 9.5 at home. Give me the Lions. And I'm just realizing this now. It is going to be great that we're going to have the 1 o'clock Thanksgiving game, whatever that is. I haven't looked at the schedule yet. It's great that the 1 o'clock Thanksgiving game is going to be a game to watch because the Lions are good. So thank you, Lions, for being good so that the 1 o'clock Thanksgiving game is not an automatic skip. Give me the Lions minus 9.5 to win over Chicago and keep the train rolling in Motown. The Los Angeles Chargers and the Green Bay Packers. The Chargers are 3-point favorites. This is the kind of game where I want to just give Justin Herbert a hug. Like, what is this man supposed to do? He's doing everything he can. Throwing 323 yards, 4 touchdowns. It was the second touchdown to Guyton was a fantastic throw. And he can't win because his defense is horrendous. This was one of the worst defenses in the league. They let Gibbs and Montgomery run all over them in the spot. They run for 177 yards in the first half. This defense is what's killing this team right now. That's why I can't blame all of it on Herbert. And also a terrible coach in Staley, who I don't know why he's still there. Packers, they are lucky, though, they're going up against a bad Packers team as they lost to Pittsburgh today. But you know what? I'm going to roll with Green Bay. This is the kind of game, it just seems like a trap game for me for the Chargers. Seems like an easy opportunity. I could see the Chargers blowing this one in typical Chargers fashion. Green Bay's at home. It's only 3. Why not? Give me the Packers plus 3 here. And Chargers, please move on from Brendan Staley. Please. I'm begging you. I'm not even a Chargers fan, but please do it. The Las Vegas Raiders and the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are 9.5-point favorites. Thank you, NBC, for putting on that stupid Jet Raiders game on Sunday night. What a miserable performance that was for both of those teams. Raiders only won because the Jets are so anemic. The best throw Zach Wilson had all night was the failed Hail Mary. That should tell you something. But Raiders won that one, 2 in a row, yay. But they're about to go up against and I still think a great team. I know Miami lost a lot of stock with some people because it's their 3rd game against a team with a winning record this year, and they've lost all 3. The offense looked bad. I know they were in Germany, but it was not the kind of Dolphins performance you expect there against Kansas City. The front 7 had a great game. They pressured Mahomes 11 times, strip sack, forced a turnover. Offensive line banged up in this game. Had a real struggle to performance. Struggled a lot in that performance. But they're home. They're well rested, and they're 9.5-point favorites against the Raiders. And I know the Raiders are motivated right now. They all hated Josh McDaniels, and who can blame them? Everyone hates Josh McDaniels. All my homies hate Josh McDaniels. But I don't think it's going to be enough to go into Miami and beat this Dolphins team. I expect another big game from Miami. I expect them to roll. Give me the Dolphins minus 9.5 to get back on their winning ways over the Raiders. Giants and Commanders. The Commanders are 10-point favorites. Just go with the Commanders. I know the Commanders aren't great, but just roll with the Commanders, okay? The Giants don't have a quarterback. They won't let Tommy DeVito throw the ball. You have like 80 yards in this game. They will not let Tommy DeVito throw the Giants do not have a quarterback right now. If they were just having a guy, just here, check it down, okay? And just pray something happens. I know that right now it's all about just getting the first pick for the Giants, but that doesn't take away any of the embarrassment I've had watching this team. This team, in 2 games against the Cowboys, have been outscored 89-17. What a freaking joke. Commanders minus 10. The Dallas Cowboys and the Carolina Panthers. The Cowboys, 10.5-point favorites. Cowboys whooped on my Giants there today or yesterday. Which is what they should have done. So I credit for that. I've heard an expression from a podcast I listened to, and I think it's fitting. Good teams win and great teams cover. And that's exactly what Dallas did. 18-point favorites, and they were able to cover it very easily here against the Giants. And their offense really rolling here. Their run game looks solid. Dak had a great game. That's the kind of game you want to see more from Dak, especially in the playoffs. And now they go against a struggling Panthers team that might be the worst team in the league. I expect Dallas to roll in this one. I expect the Cowboys to dominate in this spot. Give me the Cowboys. I know they're on the road, but it should not matter against this Carolina team. Give me the Cowboys minus 10.5 to beat down on the Carolina Panthers. The Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are 6.5-point favorites. Tennessee scoring only 6 against Tampa Bay. And yet, Jacksonville was worse, scoring 3. This was not the kind of performance you were hoping coming off. And I thought the Niners would win that game, but you were hoping that coming off a Niners team that was struggling, 3 losses in a row, that you were hoping that you were able to maybe take advantage of that, have a good game. And instead, they got blown out. The offense really, really suffered here in this spot. A lot of 4 turnovers. Calvin Ridley being bad. Calvin Ridley has not really been great here this year for the Jaguars. It's been a disappointment. They allowed 5 sacks. Just a real struggle here. You want more from this Jacksonville offense, and they're just not giving it to you here. And if their offense continues to play this bad, the Texans are going to roll away with the division, which is a sentence I never thought I would say at the beginning of the year. But that's what happens here when the Texans have a star rookie quarterback in the making. But in this spot, Tennessee is not that much better, and Jacksonville is going to be at home for this spot, even though I guess that was the problem yesterday. But I expect them to. This is not San Francisco. They'll be much better. They'll be much more like the Jaguars team that we want them to be. I expect the Jaguars to win this one. Going away, give me the Jaguars minus 6.5 over Tennessee. The Arizona Cardinals and the Houston Texans. The Texans are 5.5-point favorites. Arizona with the win. Good to see Kyler Murray back out there. Impressive win there against Atlanta. The Houston Texans are 5-4. This is an utterly insane sentence to have said. If I'd said that sentence 2 months ago, it would have been almost as crazy as Taylor Swift kisses Travis Kelce backstage at Eras Tour show in Argentina. 2023, man. What a year. But CJ Stroud, I wasn't ready to buy into I saw last week Dan Orlovsky say CJ Stroud should be in the MVP conversation. And I was like, come on, really? No, that's too early. I'm still not ready to do it yet, but I'm far more lenient on the idea right now after what I just saw. 2 straight great performances from CJ Stroud here. I mean, he's been really good all season, but especially here in the last 2 games, he's really stepped up. And against Cincinnati, they score 30. He scores over 300 yards. He had a nice game from the running game as well from Houston, with Devin Singletary with 150 yards and a touchdown. First Texans running back to rush for over 100 yards since week 9 of 2022. So it's been a struggle there for the Texans running game. But if he can get a running game going, if Singletary can help Stroud out there, that could be a real dangerous combination for the Texans going forward. It's a great story. I'm rooting for the Texans. I say it continues here in the spot. I know that Kyler Murray is back, and he looked better here in this. He looked good in his first outing, but I'm expecting a little bit more from this Houston team, which I never thought I would say. But Houston Texans, you have my attention. I'm paying attention to you now. I'm not glossing over your games now. You've played great. I'm giving you the respect you deserve. And this could very well be an AFC South title for the Texans if they keep this up. Give me the Texans minus 5.5 to keep it rolling against Arizona. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers 10.5-point favorites. Tampa Bay coming off a win against Tennessee. Whatever. Reports of the San Francisco 49ers death have been greatly exaggerated. It turns out that when you lose a bunch of guys due to injury and then they come back, you tend to be better. That's what happened here. They were totally healthy. They were relaxed. They were refreshed, ready to go. And they were the only problem in this game was not getting a touchdown for Christian McCaffrey, which they tried too late, but could not get it done. But either way, it didn't matter. 34 points. They go back in Vegas here. They now once again have the second best odds to win the Super Bowl behind Kansas City. So they leapfrogged the Eagles there for the top odds in the NFC, and they deserved it here. They now have a very interesting 4 games coming up. Home to Tampa, at Seattle, at Philly, home to Seattle. That is going to determine where this team ends up. Is the road to the Super Bowl going to roll through San Francisco? We will wait and see. But I expect here in this spot, home to Tampa Bay, I expect the Niners to continue their dominance. I expect the defense to continue to play as well. And they played great, shutting down Jacksonville like that. I expect them to do the same to Baker Mayfield. 10.5 at home. The Niners win easily. Give me San Francisco minus 10.5. The Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. The Seahawks are 2.5-point favorites. This was the kind of performance yesterday against Washington that Geno Smith needed. He'd been struggling a lot lately, 8 turnovers over 4 games. And today, 31 for 47, 369 yards, 2 touchdowns, including the go-ahead score. And most importantly, and he also led them to the winning drive with a field goal, most importantly, 0 turnovers. That's all that matters. That was the kind of Geno performance that you needed, you were hoping for, and you got it. Big time win for Geno. Very proud of him for that performance. Also, great game for Kenneth Walker as well, with 63 yards on 19 carries, including a touchdown catch there. And had a couple nice plays on the final drive. So great win there for Seattle. Rams coming off a bye. I was actually thinking about maybe taking the Rams if the line was bigger. If the line was 7, I would have taken the Rams coming off the bye at home. But 2.5, it's just not enough for me to trust the Rams in that spot. Seattle is the better team, and they're coming off a win, and I expect that to I expect a streak here starting next week. Give me Seattle minus 2.5 on the road, and Geno to putting together another solid performance to beat the Rams. Monday night, the arguable game of the year, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Swifts. Both these teams coming off a bye week. The Eagles won against Dallas last week, 28 points there against the Cowboys. Had to hold on for dear life there at the end of the game, but they did what they needed to do. Another great game from Jalen Hurts with great plays to Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. And Kansas City, we don't know what everybody did on their bye week. We know what Travis Kelce did, making time with his lovely girlfriend at his show in Argentina. Karma is the guy from the Chiefs coming straight home to me. 2023, what a year. Never could have imagined it, but it's fun. Love the content. I will say this, I have not been impressed with Kansas City all year long. I've wanted more from Kansas City. I've expected more from them because they are the Super Bowl champions, because they are this great team, because Mahomes, and this is going to be a great matchup too also, Mahomes and Hurts, arguably, probably, I think most people would agree, the 2 best quarterbacks in the league right now. So it'll be great watching them go at it in a matchup that is not the Super Bowl, especially we remember what happened the last time these two faced off. It was a great Super Bowl back in February. But I've been disappointed by Kansas City. I've wanted to see more from them, and I have not gotten that definitive Kansas City win yet. I was hoping it was going to be against Miami, and they didn't do that. They scored 21, and one of those was a fumble return. Like, it was just not the dominant Kansas City performance I was expecting. Yes, they're 7-2, and yes, they're still a very good team, but they have not been the world beaters. I don't know if teams are looking into this year. I don't know if teams are scared of Kansas City, at least as of right now. So in this instance, in a big game, Monday night, if Taylor was there, I'd pick Kansas City. But in this instance, I think Philadelphia is the more complete team right now, and I expect another great game from Hurts. 2.5 points. They're probably gonna have to win it to cover. And I said they do it. It's gonna be a great close battle, but in the end, I see Jalen Hurts, Smith, Brown, and the Eagles defense doing just enough to get the win on Monday night. This should be a great game. It'll get a great rating. We're all very excited for it. If you're a football fan, you've got to be so thrilled for this game. In the end, Philadelphia gets the win in the potential Super Bowl preview. Give me the Eagles plus 2.5. That's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to see, make sure you subscribe down below. I will be back tomorrow to break down Jets and Bills and Broncos and Vikings. So ignore those spreads at the bottom. I will see you guys then. Take care and God bless.